I want to talk about a couple of issues with you, which are in the news, which you have quite strong views about. One, I want to play you a clip. This is the British Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, who was heard on a leaked video talking about the big trans debate at the moment.
You may have noticed Ed Davey has been very busy. Like me, you have probably seen that he was busy trying to convince everybody that women clearly had penises. And I was reflecting, you all know I am a big fan of everybody studying maths to 18. But it turns out that we need to focus on biology to 18.
So this has become a big thing, right? Along with the question, what is a woman? There's now a big debate where British political leaders have been asked about whether a woman can have a penis, and they've given varying answers. The British Prime Minister says no. The Labour leader says 99% of women do not. And the Liberal Democrat leader, who he was referencing there, says clearly women can have penises. On the face of it, this might seem a strange debate to be having, but what are the answers? I mean, you're a presidential candidate.
Well, in the United States, I think we are obviously going through a cultural transformation. People are getting more comfortable with the notion of gender fluidity, non-binary sexuality. For me, it's an issue of freedom. People get to be whoever they want to be, do whatever they want to do if it doesn't hurt anyone else. To me, we have to follow a North Star in our society. That North Star is the idea that all people are created equal. If you talk to me about a trans American, the part that matters to me is the word American. And so...
Well, what is a woman to you?
Listen, it's whatever at this point in somebody's culture, in American culture, certainly kind of whatever anyone says that it is.
Yeah, but it can't be. It can't be though.
Yes, it absolutely.
You know what, guys, man? She is dangerous. She is. And the reason why is because she is unwilling to be honest. Again, all of us know what a woman is, and all of us know what a man is. And again, we can identify as whatever we want to identify as, but that does not make us that thing. That does not. And again, you can say whatever it is you want to say, but that doesn't make you that thing. So, again, man, people that are unwilling to look at things and say, hey, man, this is what that is, that's what that is, and be honest about things, we don't need you. Again, if you don't have the guts to be honest, this country doesn't need you, because again, you are unwilling to solve problems. You are unwilling to look at the truth of matters and be brave enough to be honest. And if you aren't, man, you can never come to a real solution, because again, man, if you are not willing to look at the real problem, then you can never find a solution to that problem. You can't. So again, if you are unwilling to look at different issues because they might offend people, then we don't need you, because again, you will never find a effective solution to that problem.
If anyone can put their hand up and say they're a woman, we had a situation we had recently where the leader of the Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon of the Scottish National Party, she had to resign after putting a biological male rapist into a women's prison. So there is obviously damage there from self-identity, isn't there?
Well, certainly, but I think the issue there was rapists, not the issue of the sexual.
What is the fact she felt that this male rapist who identified as a woman at his trial,
yeah, that would be hard,
right? Simply to get into a women's prison.
Yeah,
that's wrong, right?
Well, yes, but then that's once you're talking about something like rape, then obviously it becomes relevant. It's not relevant.
What about sport?
Well, on sports, I do think we need to protect girls who were born as girls. If they are in a situation where somebody, obviously because of the size of their muscles and of their body, gives them an...
But that's all biological males.
Well, yes, that's sort of my point.
So you would stop... Well, hang on, just to clarify that. You would stop biological males competing against biological females?
Unless it can be proven. There are some situations where somebody, let's say they were born as a man, but they're a small man, right? And it can be proven through hormone testing, through muscle testing, and so forth, that there is no biological advantage. But, you know, the other day I spoke at Cambridge University, and I noticed when I went into the area where the bathrooms were, that it said, use whatever bathroom you're more comfortable with. And I thought, oh my God, it could be that easy. So I think everybody needs to lighten up on this. this issue.
Well, it's
because-
fine, except it's hard to lighten up if you are, say, a female Olympic athlete and you're losing out on your place.
Well, that's
because a biological male who's 6'3" and built like an outhouse decides to take your slot
And I
by
think-
saying, hey, I'm a woman, which goes back to your initial thing that you should all be what you want to be. Well, sure, I want to be, I want to be a movie star, but I'm not. There's a reality check.
If you're talking about specific instances, such as sports, such as where somebody goes in prison, et cetera, then obviously these become issues that have to be deciding points. But there is another world out there, which it's not hurting anybody. It just has to do with somebody's desire to identify a certain way, the area where we need to culturally open our minds to the idea of fluidity in gender and so forth. And both can be true at the same time.
People need to lighten up. People do. Trans and trans activists, they need to lighten up because, again, we got to understand that we don't have to allow men in women's dressing rooms, in women's locker rooms, bathrooms. We don't need to allow that stuff, again. And if somebody's saying, hey, you don't need to be going in there, you're a man in a dress. You don't need to be going in there. Again, nobody is suppressing you. Nobody is being hateful towards you. Again, we're not protecting people if we're allowing you in there. Again, if we allow men, biological men, to compete in women's sports, we are not protecting those women. We're not. So again, we got to be honest about that kind of stuff. So again, nobody's suppressing you. Nobody's being hateful towards you. We're oppressing the women that we're not protecting. We're oppressing the kids that we're not protecting. That is what's happening. So again, we have to understand that, yeah, I agree, we need to lighten up on this stuff. The trans and the trans activists, they're the ones that need to lighten up. They need to understand that people aren't being hateful towards you. You're being hateful towards other people.
Because I don't think you can have limitless self-identity without it infringing particularly on women's rights to equality and fairness. That's the problem with it. And that's why it sounds great to say, of course you can, but then you end up with that ridiculous woman, Rachel Dolezal, who decided to identify as black. Well, if you have limitless self-identity, why can't you?
You know, I think that somehow we have to find that balance in ourselves as well as our
But
society.
how, as a lawmaker who wants to be the first female president of the United States, what's the balance? Because you either allow it or you don't.
No, I disagree with you. As president, I think my responsibility is to the notion of all people created equal. I, as president, quite the opposite of what you just said. As president, hey, I want the whole notion of my presidency would be, please be who you want to be, do what you want to do, spread your wings and soar. If you get to the point where you're infringing on the rights of other people, you're going to have a hard time with me.
How would you feel if a man a male politician decided to suddenly identify as female and became the first woman president of the United States?
I'd be like, damn, but that wouldn't mean...
You wouldn't just be damned, you'd be like, what?
I don't think...
You'd be horrified.
But that
Come
doesn't
on.
mean I think it would be illegal or that it should
I didn't say it'd be illegal. That's the whole point.
No.
The whole
Listen.
point, Madam Would-Be President, is it's perfectly legal.
I think, well, that's my
It's
point.
just wrong.
I
isn't
don't
it?
even think it's wrong. It's just I think we'd all down a few glasses of wine then.
You know what, guys, man, you never know. It could happen. And, you know, she would care. She would care very much. She would be very upset about it. But the fact of the matter is, man, we have to understand what is happening right now. Again, it's the whole thing about truth. It's the whole thing about truth. You know, again, right now, it's seen as socially unacceptable to call a man if he identifies as a woman. And again, we understand that it is socially unacceptable. But what they would like to have that legislated, that if you call a man, and he identifies as a woman, then that is hate speech. They would love to have that mandated, legislated, that you can't say that kind of stuff. And if you do, then you get fined. That kind of stuff is truly scary. And again, people like Miss Williamson, man, I believe they would look the other way. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that she would care about that at all. And that truly is scary. That truly is scary to me. Because again, if you can start legislating that, what else can you start? Again, if you can legislate speech, you're opening up the door to so many other issues. So many other things that they can legislate when it comes to speech. So again, man, that all goes down to being honest, to being truthful. And if you can't be honest and you can't be truthful and you won't be honest and you won't be truthful, this country does not need you. Please step down. This country does not need you. And again, we've already got things bad under Biden. I mean, truly bad. And again, man, people like her will not be any different. They won't be any different at all. Because again, they won't be honest about things. But hey guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
You son of a